this would undoubtedly result in a constitutional crisis. And I think Democrats and Republicans need to speak out about this right now.
Coming up on Good Morning Suncoast.
President Trump ramping up attacks on the Russian investigation, taking on special counsel Robert Mueller now by name.
Governor Rick Scott is in Bradenton this morning to sign a bill to combat a national issue that hits close to home. What that issue is and how he plans to tackle it is straight ahead.
And starting today, you can sign up for a program that lets you move through airport security faster. Good Morning Suncoast starts right now.
You're watching Good Morning Suncoast at 6.
Good morning, Monday. And again, the buzzword of the day is fog. 100% humidity out there right now. It's very foggy.
I think a little bit of it has leaked into our studio as well. Feels gently like the Amazon inside and outside.
Yes, it does.
A lot of thick fog out there. It's going to be slowing down your morning commute a little bit. Right there, John Scalzi?
Absolutely right, particularly along the interstate and points east. And while the visibility is still reduced along the coastline, it's going to be thickest east of the interstate. So watch for that. We'll look for visibilities right now being reported at a quarter-mile in both Sarasota and in Punta Gorda. So that's a pretty good indication that the fog is thicker in other places. And indeed, it probably is in areas like Wauchula and Arcadia, Ona. Even Lakewood Ranch might see some thicker fog develop in those locations. Temperatures certainly very sticky and humid. 64 degrees in Bradenton, 67 degrees in Sarasota. It's about 10 degrees above where we were yesterday at this hour. No rain right now in the forecast, but there are strong storms to the north. We have watch boxes up for severe thunderstorms, warnings up for those areas just to the north of us around the Big Bend region. These are not coming in our direction. But tomorrow, another line of storms will develop along a cold front and approach our area. I think the big news of the day is that tomorrow may be a severe weather day. And we certainly have a first alert weather day issued for tomorrow because of the threat of severe weather, which we'll talk about in detail coming up in just a few minutes. But for us, currently 65 by 7, by noon 74, 78 by 3, increasing cloud cover, but rain showers probably hold off today. But tomorrow's a different story. Talk about that coming up in a few.
All right, talk to you soon. Thank you, John. Foggy out there indeed. There are the roads in Manatee County. Nothing too much to speak of so far today. Let's go farther south now into the northern half of Sarasota County. There we go. A little issue there on, that is Fruitville in the eastbound lane around Beneva as you head toward McIntosh. Also, be aware of 41 northbound as you go from Siesta Drive toward Weber. And then checking our final map to the south, we'll see a little blip there, the 41 southbound around South Venice. But again, fog is the big word right now. Humidity is out there as well. We've got some pictures to share with you now of some foggy spots a viewer sent to us of some pictures at I-75 around State Road 70 and also University Parkway. There are some still photos now of the extent of the fog with the headlights there on the interstate.
There you go. Again, drive with caution this morning. Make sure you give yourself plenty of time as you're heading out and about because that fog is very thick, particularly, as Ray said, right around the 75 area. Well, a year ago, Governor Rick Scott promised to crack down on the opioid epidemic, and this morning he is in town to make good on that pledge.
He is going to be in Bradenton. Marla Spence has a preview from the Manatee County Sheriff's Office. Marla?
Yeah, guys, Governor Rick Scott will be right here at the Manatee County Sheriff's Office signing a bill to help combat the opioid issue in the state of Florida, as well as right here on the Suncoast. Now that bill, known as House Bill 21, it calls for $53.5 million in state and federal grant funding for treatment programs. Under the bill, there will also be new restrictions on prescriptions, limiting most initial prescriptions to a 3-day supply. Also, that bill signed today will allow funding to go to the updates of the state's prescription database. And that database allows doctors to see whether a patient already has a prescription for painkillers by another physician. At 9:30 this morning is when Governor Rick Scott will be making his way to the Manatee County Sheriff's Office. Coming up at 6:30, we're going to be telling you why state lawmakers chose Manatee County to sign that bill. Reporting live in Bradenton, I'm Marla Spence for ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
All right, thanks, Marla. For the latest on this story, plus your breaking news and your up-to-minute first alert forecast and traffic, all you have to do is head over to our app. You can find it in the App Store under WWSB or My Suncoast.
In Washington, President Trump is ramping up his attacks on the Russia investigation. And as reporter Arlette Saenz tells us, there's now renewed speculation he may try to fire the special counsel.
President Trump is steering his fury over the Russia probe in a new direction. His latest target, special counsel Robert Mueller, calling him out for the first time by name. The president tweeted, "The Mueller probe should never have been started, in that there was no collusion and there was no crime." Witch hunt. The fresh attack came after his personal lawyer called for the Justice Department to end the special counsel's probe. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are issuing a warning: don't fire Mueller.
If he tried to do that, that would be the beginning of the end of his presidency, because we're a rule of law nation.
This would undoubtedly result in a constitutional crisis, and I think Democrats and Republicans need to speak out about this right now.
A White House lawyer tried to ease concerns. The White House yet again confirms that the president is not considering or discussing the firing of the special counsel. On Fox News, one Republican urged the president to exercise restraint.
If you've done nothing wrong, you should want the investigation to be as fulsome and thorough as possible.
The president also took aim at Deputy FBI Director Andrew McCabe, who was fired on Friday, days before his retirement. McCabe denies any wrongdoing, but the president tweeted his ouster was a great day for democracy. Sources tell ABC News McCabe was interviewed by Mueller's team and gave investigators personal memos of his interactions with the president, similar to memos written by his boss and former FBI Director James Comey. The president tweeted he spent very little time with McCabe and says he never saw him taking any notes. He's calling both McCabe's and Comey's documents, quote, fake memos. Arlette Saenz, ABC News, Washington.
Other news now on the ongoing effort for better security at airports. TSA is trying facial recognition technology. It was recently installed at the Orlando International Airport. The cameras engage when passengers step on those assigned footprints. If the scans are not successful, the passenger is then manually scanned by a gate agent. This technology is also being tested at a dozen other airports also around the country. Starting today, you can sign up for a program that lets you move through airport security faster in Sarasota. The Identigo mobile RV will be parked at the Sarasota-Bradenton International Airport so that travelers will be able to enroll in a TSA pre-check. If you sign up, you won't have to take off your shoes or remove liquids from luggage. The RV will be at the airport until March the 30th.
An investigation is underway this morning after a Cirque du Soleil performer died during a show in Tampa over the weekend. Jan Arnaud fell while performing an aerial straps number during the show Volta. Now, according to a post on his official Instagram page, it was the first time he had attempted a portion of that act that night. Arnaud was taken to a hospital after that fall, where he later died. Cirque du Soleil canceled its final 2 Tampa shows while the company and authorities investigate just how that accident happened. He'd been a performer with Cirque du Soleil for more than 15 years.
Today is the final day you can submit ideas on Sarasota County's Trails Master Plan. There are more than 800 miles of trails in Sarasota County. The county wants your feedback on how they can make the trails safer and better connected and more enjoyable for the community. You can call the county at 861-5000. One big trail is the Legacy Trail. It might be connected from Clark Road right into downtown Sarasota. Voters will decide that one this fall. $65 million referendum.
All right, very nice.
That could be exciting.
Could be a good move.
Still ahead, first alert traffic and
the sobering results of a new study on binge drinking. We'll have all the details for you when we come back.
But first, a live look right now at Washington, D.C., the beautiful Capitol, all lit up at 6:08. It's 36 degrees there right now. They'll see a high of 53. But in this area, a much different picture, John Scalzi.
Yeah, warm and steamy around here. We're coming in right now at 67 degrees. We'll have a daytime high that tops out mild this afternoon, but we may have a severe weather day tomorrow. We'll talk about that in just a second.
Thank you.
You are the best protection she has. Buddy up. I'm Jill Harrington. Please visit helpsavethenextgirl.com and get involved.
So Matt told me to meet him at 7 a.m. sharp right here. It is now 7:01 a.m. You think Matt will leave without me? Hey, is Matt here?
Long gone.
Long gone.
Just missed him.
Just missed him.
All done.
Mr. Sparky guarantees they're on time and the repair is free, so chop chop.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Matt, you started without me.
I finished without you, too.
Get to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota for big savings during the spring sales event. Take a test drive and see why Jeep Grand Cherokee is the most awarded SUV of all time. Or for impressive off-road performance with a little bit of Suncoast style, shop the area's largest selection of new 2018 Jeep Wranglers. Stop by today and drive away in a new Jeep Cherokee for just $19,999. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota.
This is an important announcement. If you're between 50 and 85 and worried about your loved ones, you can still get affordable life insurance for peace of mind.
My life insurance coverage is guaranteed, and I was not required to get a medical exam.
I had high blood pressure and diabetes, and I got my coverage with one telephone call. No exam necessary.
I'm a smoker, and I wanted to take care of my family. I called to get my life insurance and my affairs in order. I wanted to do the right thing.
Call Final Expense No Exam Insurance. Your rates are guaranteed and will never increase.
I called and learned that this insurance cannot be canceled even if you get sick or gain weight.
And there are no restrictions on how my beneficiaries use the money when I'm gone.
Approval was easy and the price was right. I wanted to do this for my children.
Call 800-738-9812. 800-738-9812.
Today, everyone is looking for carpeting that lasts longer. G. Fried has you covered with Karastan. With a legacy of quality and integrity, we provide you with a huge selection of Karastan carpets with exclusive lifetime limited warranties. All installed by our highly skilled, highly knowledgeable team. Come ask us why Karastan is the best and most durable. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
Keep up with the Suncoast. Watch your favorite ABC7 shows on your streaming device. Now your ABC7 First Alert Weather Forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
67-degree air temperature, dew point the same. That's 100% relative humidity when temperature and dew point are equal. And so consequently, we have a fog issue out there this morning, particularly east of the interstate and along the interstate. That's where fog is going to be thickest. But there are some patches of fog closer to the coast that do have quarter-mile visibility or less. And so you need to take a little extra time and assume, I think this morning, that visibility could be an issue with your morning commute and perhaps slow your commute times a bit. We'll look for little in the way of any kind of rain chance, but as the fog lifts, we'll have a little bit of cloud cover around tomorrow till that burns away by around 9 o'clock. We'll have a 68-degree air temperature under partly cloudy skies after the fog burns off, but we'll watch for increasing cloud cover throughout the day as a frontal boundary approaches us. By 12 noon, 74, 78 degrees. By 3 p.m., rain-free skies, but getting a little cloudier. And then as we head into the evening, I think we'll have mostly cloudy skies during the overnight. 66 degrees the air temperature by about 7 o'clock this evening. Again, I wouldn't be surprised to see an isolated shower by around 7 o'clock, but they'll be very isolated. And I don't put a chance of rain in the forecast particularly because of that isolated factor. Now, there are a couple of areas of low pressure that are going to impact our weather. First with cloud cover today, and then with rain showers, potentially even some severe weather tomorrow. This first area of low pressure producing some rain showers is really not going to impact us. But tomorrow, showers and thunderstorms developing on a line of this frontal boundary will begin to get closer to us, and some of those storms will be stronger. In fact, for North Florida, there's the potential as that front sinks south tomorrow, about a 30% potential, and that's pretty high for isolated tornadoes. Strong storms containing gusty winds and hail. That risk does decrease as the front sinks further to the south to about 5% in our area, which is small, but not negligible, particularly when you've had a severe weather incident just to our north. So we'll keep an eye on that tomorrow between around 2 and 5 o'clock, most particularly, maybe as late as 7 o'clock, for those showers and thunderstorms to move through here. And maybe some of them containing gusty winds 50, 60 mile an hour that could do some damage, as well as hail, a potential as well. We'll also monitor tomorrow for the potential in the atmosphere for an isolated tornado or two. We'll keep an eye out for that. Increasing clouds today, storms tomorrow, a first alert weather day tomorrow, and then cooler weather as we head into midweek once that front moves through. The rest of the week looks absolutely great. Here's the forecast on our futurecast. You'll see today most of the showers stay well to our north, and then tomorrow we'll watch that frontal boundary move through our area. As it does so, we clear out pretty quickly, and by Wednesday, high pressure builds in, and we're left with a week ahead of just some very nice but slightly cooler weather. So it looks like after we get through tomorrow, everything is going to be beautiful this week. South wind coming in at about 10 to 15 today. Now, boaters, as we head into tomorrow, this light chop that we get today will increase to a moderate chop, and the winds will also become kind of gusty and breezy, both, I think, later on Tuesday and particularly into Wednesday. So don't be caught by the boating forecast. You'll be caught by surprise. Today, 78. Tomorrow, first alert weather day. Temperature slightly cooler because of the cloud cover around. First day of spring, and it will come in like a lion, I guess you could say. And then on Wednesday, a little bit of cloud cover kind of giving way to more sunshine. Daytime high slightly cooler at 68. And the next several days will be sunny and mild. We'll warm up again over the weekend, but not before some nighttime lows that dip down into the 40s, both Thursday into Friday and Friday into Saturday. Back to you.
Let's take a look outside. The traffic word of the morning is lots of fog out there, so give yourself extra time as you're heading out and about this morning. Now, if you're heading into Manatee County, those roads are still looking pretty clear in terms of traffic-wise. There is a little bit of a slowdown right there on State Road 70 right before you get to the northbound area of 301 in Manatee County. If you're heading into South Sarasota or to North Sarasota County, there is a little bit of congestion right there on Fruitville Road almost to 301. Starting to see some slowdowns in that area as well. There is a little bit of construction in that area too to keep in mind. Bee Ridge, you have a slowdown there, as well as Clark Road, some slowdowns. And then if you're heading into South Venice, also some slowdowns in that area too. We're starting to see some congestion due to all that fog. There are some big hot spots, particularly along the 75 area. There's lots of fog in those areas as well. So that is your look right now at 6:17 in your first alert traffic. So what exactly defines binge drinking? Well, the CDC has the answer. ABC's Kenneth Moten has the sobering results of a new study.
17 billion drinks a year. That's the surprising number of beverages that U.S. binge drinkers down a year. In this first of its kind study, the CDC looked at statistics for 2015. The results are sobering. 1 in 6 adults binge about once a week. A binge, by the way, is 5 or more drinks for a man, 4 or more for a woman in a 2-hour span. Binging is more common in adults under 34. But more alcohol is actually consumed by those 35 and over. What seems linked to binge drinking? Lower education levels, lower income, and sadly a greater risk of cancer, heart disease, and of course liver failure. Dangerous driving, violence, and risky sexual behaviors also seem to be side effects of binge drinking. The CDC sees it as a major health hurdle. Drinkers can see it as a reason to cut back. With this Medical Minute, I'm Kenneth Moten, ABC News.
An innovative high school senior in Wisconsin is using a 3D printer to get a 3-legged golden retriever back on all fours. The dog had just 3 legs, named Gray. Gets around fine, but his owner wanted to give him the feeling of being complete. So a high school engineering teacher heard about the golden through a puppy training class and decided to help. The challenge was passed along to a senior named Ben, who designed and built the leg all with a 3D printer. With a few more tweaks, Gray was able to use a new leg, which can adjust to his height as he grows. How's that for technology?
I love that. 3D printers are so amazing. Like the stuff that they do with them now, particularly in the health field, is very innovative.
So you go to the printer, you press 3D, and out it comes?
That's right.
Yeah.
The day that we can print out a new Lamborghini is the day that I really embrace 3D printing.
You can drive that
first. Right.
In the fog. Still ahead on Good Morning Suncoast.
A lawsuit between 2 big dating apps that involves alleged stolen trade secrets.
67 degrees outside right now. We should see a high of 78, but right now we can't see our own faces out there. Nope. It is foggy out there on the Sun Coast. 100% humidity, that's all. Keep that in mind as you go out today. John Scalzi's forecast and more news on the way on Good Morning Suncoast.
Motor Trend said the new Alfa Romeo Giulia is hands down the best sports sedan you can buy today. And named it the 2018 Motor Trend Car of the Year. Rediscover your passion for driving at Sunset Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
Rugs as Art, Sarasota's only area rug superstore.
If you're looking for the perfect trip that allows you to spend quality time with the family, then discover the great outdoors on an Alabama Black Belt adventure. Create unforgettable memories while hunting, canoeing, camping, and more. Or challenge yourself on Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, now celebrating 25 years. And while you're here, enjoy a Deep South dining experience. Book your adventure in one of our members' lodges or stay at the Renaissance Montgomery Hotel and Spa. Start planning an Alabama Black Belt adventure today.
Meet Blue. Blue's not feeling well. The prescription? Generic medication. Blue wonders, do they really work as well as name brands? Yes, generics and name brand medications do work the same. Even though they may look different, generics have the same key ingredients. FDA approval is equally rigorous for generics to make sure they're as safe and effective as name brands. And Blue even saves some green, making him a little less, well, blue. Talk to your doctor about generics and visit fda.gov/generic drugs.
Who else has been taking your prescriptions? Keep your medicine and your family safe and secure. Mind your meds. To learn how we can help, visit the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids at drugfree.org.
Performing on stage takes mental and physical preparation. But one thing I never thought to prepare for was cervical cancer. 91% of cervical cancers are caused by the human papillomavirus, or HPV. The good news is there are vaccines that can protect you or your children from cancer. I survived my cancer, but you can stop cancer before it starts. Talk to your doctor and go to thinkaboutthelink.org to learn more.
When evaluating the Alfa Romeo Stelvio, Car and Driver magazine said every crossover should be this good to drive. We agree. Rediscover your passion for driving at Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
There's a shot outside our window. That's all we can see right now. One car going by. Be aware of that fog out there. It is definitely an issue. 67 degrees tomorrow. Much different story, and you might not love it because tomorrow it looks like some rain in the forecast. John is on the way. But first, back to the news. A successful first flight for Boeing's newest jet, the 737 MAX 7. Took a 3-hour test flight over Washington State yesterday. Boeing says this new plane can fly 1,000 miles farther and carry more passengers than its predecessors. Averages 18% lower fuel cost per seat. Well, ticket prices go down too now. 4,000 MAX 7s have already been ordered, with the first to be sent to Southwest Airlines next year.
Well, a legal battle is heating up in the world of online dating apps. The parent company of Tinder is suing rival Bumble for patent infringement and allegedly stealing important trade secrets. Now, Tinder alleges that Bumble copied its swipe-based system and also the look and the setup of the site. The lawsuit also claims that Bumble introduced 2 new features that were developed when a pair of Bumble co-creators also worked at Tinder.
Certain names inspire confidence. Bumble. I'm not sure when I'll meet my loved one on Bumble.
Right. It's a very hot dating app, especially in the younger generation, but I'm not entirely sure that you want that to define your love life.
I had a chance to update some photos. Took a bike ride through downtown yesterday. Check out those pictures on my website on Facebook, Ray Collins, ABC7.
That's right. I just uploaded pictures of used Kleenex from our cold-filled weekend, so that's what's on my Facebook page.
Good tease.
Right? You like that? Well, we have all of that coming up straight ahead for you.
A married father who is accused of taking a 16-year-old to Mexico is due in court today. ABC's Ariel Reshef tells us what charges he faces.
In this morning's GMA First Look, married father of 4 Kevin Esterly is behind bars, arrested after fleeing to Mexico with the 16-year-old best friend of his eldest daughter. International law enforcement finding the 45-year-old with high school student Amy Yu in this apartment complex just outside of Playa del Carmen Saturday morning. Esterly hauled off in handcuffs. Amy reunited with her mom in Pennsylvania. Authorities telling ABC News she is unharmed and in good health. Esterly's arrest comes after a 2-week cross-border manhunt. Authorities say on March 5th, Esterly withdrew $4,000 from his wife's bank account. Police believe Amy willingly flew on a one-way ticket with Esterly from Philadelphia through Dallas to Mexico. And coming up at 7 a.m., we'll have the latest on the investigation. With your GMA First Look, I'm Ariel Reshef, ABC News, New York.
I can't believe it's Head & Shoulders.
I thought it was just for, like, dandruff.
The new formula intensely moisturizes your hair and scalp and keeps you up to 100% flake-free. And now try new Head & Shoulders conditioner.
When you say you need a heart transplant, that's a whole different ballgame. I was in shock.
I am very proud of the development of drugs that can prevent the rejection and prevent the recurrence of the original disease.
I never felt I was gonna die.
We know so much about transplantation.
And we're living longer.
You cannot help but be inspired by the opportunities that a transplant would offer.
My donor's mom says, you were meant to carry his story.
People everywhere are confusing Quilted Northern for robes. They're both cushiony, comforting, and add elegance to your home. But Quilted Northern is not a robe. It's just really nice toilet paper.
Car experts and customers agree there's a lot to love about a new Subaru. Subaru is Kelley Blue Book's 2017 Most Trusted Brand, Best Overall Brand, and lowest 5-year cost to own. And Subaru Forester is an IIHS Top Safety Pick for 12 years running. Now, lease the most award-winning small SUV, a new Subaru Forester for just $219 a month. Or get 0% financing with 0 down during the Subaru A Lot to Love event. Get more for your money. Go to Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
Credit card debt can ruin your life. If you owe $10,000 and minimum payments are siphoning away your paycheck each month, you can get debt-free in less time than you think.
I've paid $800 a month for the past 3 years and haven't changed the balance on my credit card.
Get debt-free now has a program to reduce your debt, stop the harassing phone calls, avoid financial ruin, and settle for less than you owe.
I feel like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders.
You're pre-approved for our special hardship program if you owe $10,000 or more. Upon payment of your new lower balance, your debt will finally shrink until you are debt-free.
My family no longer has 30 years of payments ahead of us at 20% interest.
There's no fees until you see results. So call now, make one monthly program payment, and free up your cash. Resolve your debt.
Call 800-685-6422, 800-685-6422.
Everybody can make something, because I think everyone has a spark of creativity, and the reason that I have to keep making is because I don't think my life would be as fulfilling without it. If you make things yourself, that means you're not cowering in fear. You're out there taking chances. That, I think, is my way of saying I love you to the world. All right, now I want to hear why you make.
Share your own Why I Make story today. Visit whyimake.org.
Soldiers in the Army National Guard serve to give back to their country and communities.
Their part-time commitment qualifies them for an array of benefits, such as affordable health and life insurance benefits, education benefits, including tuition assistance, student loan repayment and GI Bill programs, a retirement plan based on part-time service, and VA home mortgages. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more about all the benefits available in the Army National Guard.
Chris Domine is a husband, father, an athlete, even an Ironman. But 10 years ago, Chris's kidneys were failing.
The doctor said if you don't do dialysis, if you don't get a kidney transplant, you are going to die.
Then Chris received a second chance, made possible by an organ donor.
Your well-being changes from loss of hope to better times ahead.
Imagine what you could make possible. Learn more and sign up as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. Go to organdonor.gov.
Check out mysuncoast.com/dining, your guide to the foodie lifestyle.
It is very possible that this device was a device that was activated by someone either handling, kicking, or coming in contact with a tripwire that activated the device.
Coming up on Good Morning Suncoast.
A fourth explosion in Austin, Texas. Police telling some neighbors to stay inside their homes this morning.
Governor Rick Scott in Bradenton this morning signing a bill to help combat the opioid issue in the state of Florida and on the Suncoast. I have a live report straight ahead. Your Suncoast News starts now.
You're watching Good Morning Suncoast at 6:30.
Good morning to you. Welcome to Monday morning. It is 6:30 this morning, Monday morning, March 19th. More than halfway through this month already.
Yes, we are, and there's plenty of fog out there this morning. Humidity's 100% right now. John Scalzi, take it away, my friend.
Well, that's indeed correct. We have areas of patchy, dense fog across the Suncoast. We've been talking about this all morning, particularly east of the interstate is where the fog is thickest, and in a narrow band at this moment from about to Inglewood south through Rotunda. Generally speaking, the visibilities are a half mile or better, so that's not a huge problem for your morning commute. But in isolated pockets, that visibility drops down to a quarter mile or less, so that is a problem. And that can come up on you pretty quickly as well, as it's spotty in nature. So allow yourself a little extra time for this morning commute. After that fog burns off, we'll have a little bit of low-hanging cloud that'll eventually give way to partly cloudy skies before the clouds begin to increase and thicken tonight under mostly cloudy overnight skies. The reason for that is an approaching front that promises a first alert weather day tomorrow for the potential of severe weather. Currently, temperatures are warmer than yesterday by about 10 degrees in most locations, coming in the upper 60s. And there's no rain across our region right now, though a hint of what's to come exists around the Big Bend region with scattered showers, thunderstorms, and even some tornado warnings that have been issued through the morning hours from Tallahassee toward the east. We'll talk about the potential for us for severe weather coming up in just a few, but for today, not too bad. After we burn off the morning fog, we'll get into the 70s by noon and then top it out warm at around 78. Complete forecast in a minute.
All right, John, talk to you soon. Checking first alert traffic again. The buzzword is watch the fog out there. Otherwise, not too much congestion so far this morning. Some issues there at 301 at State Road 70 in Manatee County. Checking farther south now on the maps in the northern half of Sarasota County. Little blip there east of the interstate on Fruitville Road in the westbound lane. Also Bee Ridge westbound around Beneva. And our final maps to the south will show us nothing much to report at 6:32 on this Monday morning.
Well, a year ago, Governor Rick Scott was in Bradenton promising change when it comes to fighting the opioid epidemic.
And today he's back with that pledge. Marla Spence is live at the Manatee County Sheriff's Office with a preview of today's event. Marla.
Yeah, guys, making good on that pledge is exactly what Governor Rick Scott is doing this morning. He's doing that by signing legislation as well as highlighting funding that will combat the crisis of opioids across the state of Florida, as well as right here on the Suncoast. Although the issue impacts so many across the state, it also impacts Manatee County. In 2015, the county saw the highest amount of deaths in the state from phenylene analog, a drug prescribed for veterinary use and often 5,000 times more lethal than heroin. Although there was a spike in deaths in 2015, the Manatee County Sheriff's Office reported a drop in drug overdoses recently. So far, there have been 6 overdoses and deaths this year compared to 21 last year. Also, in the first 2 months of 2018, there were 47 overdoses, and last year This time last year, there were 172 overdoses. Now, the sheriff's office is crediting the lower numbers to the arrest of people on the streets selling those drugs, as well as sheriff deputies helping addicts find help. Reporting live in Bradenton, I'm Marla Spence for ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
Marla, thank you for details on this story and breaking news and first alert forecast. Check out our app, WWSB or My Suncoast.
Well, some breaking news. Breaking news that we're following out of Tampa this morning, where police say an officer was shot multiple times and another officer injured while serving a warrant early this morning. The Tampa Police Department says Walter Giorski was facing several charges for making violent threats to his family. Now, police say the officers knocked on his door when he started firing, shooting one officer and injuring another. Now, one is in the hospital recovering. The other suffered only minor injuries and is expected to be okay.
An 18-year-old already on probation has now been arrested for the murder of a man last weekend in Palmetto. Deputies say Jasor Ryan Lee and Tommy Brown got into a fight at the Oakwood Estates on 21st Street East. And that's when they say Lee allegedly shot and killed Brown last Sunday night, ran away, and has been on the run until this past weekend. The families of the victims of the bridge collapse in Miami last week are now mourning the loss of their loved ones. Police released the names of 4 victims: Rolando Fraga, Oswald Gonzalez, Alberto Arias, and Navarro Brown. A 5th victim, Alexa Duran, was identified by her family. The 6th victim's identity has not yet been released. Florida International University will hold a moment of silence today at 1:47 in honor of those lives lost.
Well, new details this morning about another explosion that injured at least 2 people in Austin, Texas. Police are telling people in that area to stay inside their homes until they are sure that that neighborhood is safe this morning. Andrew Spencer has the warning from law enforcement.
Pay attention to any suspicious device, whether it be a package, a bag, a backpack, anything that looks out of place, and do not approach it.
Police in Austin, Texas are asking people to be extra vigilant after yet another bombing, this time on the side of the road.
It is very possible that this device was a device that was activated by someone either handling, kicking, or coming in contact with a tripwire that activated the device.
2 men suffered serious injuries in Sunday night's explosion and had to be taken to South Austin Medical Center. Doctors expect both men to survive. A string of exploding packages has troubled Austin, Texas since the beginning of March, injuring 2 people and killing 2 others. Investigators are operating under the assumption that those explosions are linked to Sunday night's bombing, but they haven't confirmed anything yet. Sunday afternoon, Austin Police Chief Brian Manley said whoever is behind the bombings appears to be trying to send a message, and he urged them to come forward before anyone else got hurt.
We assure you that we are listening. We want to understand what brought you to this point, and we want to listen to you.
Law enforcement worked through the night trying to make sure the area was safe and warning people who live nearby to stay inside their homes. I'm Andrew Spencer reporting.
Now, Austin police are also asking residents in the area to stay inside their homes until at least 10 a.m. local time today to allow law enforcement time to search that area, of course, and make sure that there are no other explosive devices in the area.
Documents in the criminal case against Nicholas Cruz in Broward County show the school officials and a sheriff deputy recommended back in 2016 that he be involuntarily committed for mental evaluation. 2016. Well, that was never acted upon. A commitment under the law would have made it more difficult, if not impossible, for Cruz to obtain a gun legally. Police say Cruz used a legally obtained assault rifle to kill 17 people last month at his school. Also in Miami, more than 100 weapons were taken off the streets, all thanks to a gun buyback program this past weekend. 128 handguns, shotguns, and rifles were turned in, no questions asked. Those who took part received gift cards worth up to $250. Florida schools will receive more money to hire school resource officers now. Lawmakers passed a $400 million school safety plan that includes $97 million for more school resource officers and $67 million for the School Guardian program. Many districts say they have no interest in the Guardian program, which would allow trained employees to carry guns on campus. The Senate President Joe Negron says if there is unspent money in the Guardian program, it might be used to hire more school resource officers.
Happening later today, over 1,000 people from more than 20 local organizations are expected to voice concerns about Sarasota's affordable housing crisis and out-of-school suspensions. Now, the group is pushing for full implementation from the superintendent and the school board to help manage social problems and social issues between the students. Now, they also plan to press county commissioners to establish a fund that will help develop housing for households making less than $37,000 per year and to adjust codes that deter affordable housing development.
Voters in Sarasota and Manatee counties will head to the polls tomorrow to decide if more taxpayer money should go towards schools. Now, if this referendum gets approved, property owners will pay an additional $17 a month, or a little over $200 per year. The outcome of tomorrow's election will determine whether teachers in Manatee will get a raise and if students will get an extra half hour of class each day.
For a student in Sarasota County who has had that extra half hour in their K through 12 career as a student, they have received an extra school year worth of instruction.
If you want to be like Sarasota, conduct yourself like Sarasota. Reconcile your bank accounts, stop wasting millions of dollars, and stop managing by crisis.
Now, Sarasota County taxpayers are already paying that property tax. Voters will just decide if it should continue to the year 2022. Polls open from 7 a.m., 7 p.m. Tomorrow morning, we'll talk to the election supervisor, Ron Turner, right here at this desk.
All right, sounds good. Still ahead on Good Morning Suncoast, the latest in your first alert weather and traffic.
And major household brands are refusing to release where they get palm oil from. Details of that when we come back. First, a peek outside at nothing but fog.
Where is that this morning? Nothing but fog. That is our area. There's some big foggy patches that are out there this morning. But are they going to be continuing throughout the morning, John Scalzi?
Well, yeah, I think they are. They're going to be patchy in nature, but they will be around. I'll one-up you on the Cortez Bridge webcam. Put it into motion from about 1 o'clock this morning. Well, we get into pea soup across that bridge as we head into the last few hours of the webcam. Now, granted, this is from a camera mounted high in the sky and pointed a distance from the bridge, but still, visibility is down below a quarter mile in most locations. For your school bus forecast stop this morning, we're looking at temperatures that are mild, coming in around 67, but watch for the fog, particularly to the east. It will be dry, though, no rain in the forecast. 78 at drop-off time with a few more clouds around, still rain-free conditions. But tomorrow, that all changes as we have a first alert weather day. Potential for some severe weather. Talk about it in a second.
My name is Stefan Campagna. We're Ben Gates and Dramus, and here is your law tip of the week. If you've been injured in a car accident, the state of Florida only gives you a specific amount of time to file a claim. So act now, give us a call.
I just had a very educational ride with Nina.
Did you learn anything?
Where do I begin? So all this stuff goes into a safety check.
Yep.
It's a long list.
It's important stuff.
Test the smoke detector.
Yep.
Check the breaker box.
Yep.
Meter the GFCIs.
Ground fault circuit interrupters.
Well, I knew that.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Nina, you make it look easy.
Thanks, but don't do it yourself.
Who's your guy?
Need more space in your place? The More Space Place can help. With Murphy beds that disappear to reveal a home office, living room, or den. Custom closets with designated areas for your shoes, bags, wardrobe, and accessories. Custom-built entertainment centers, garage storage systems, and more. The More Space Place has 3 showrooms next to Sonny's on US 41 South in Sarasota, on Lakewood Ranch Boulevard just south of State Route 64 in Bradenton, and on Tamiami Trail next to Panera Bread in Port Charlotte. Put more space in your place at the More Space Place.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
I owed the IRS $20,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
We saved our home and overcame the most powerful collection agency in the world.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 1-800-565-7740. That's 1-800-565-7740.
My name is Haley. I have Fragile X syndrome. I work with Chartwells at Einstein's and FAU. I like being up front and interacting with students. The students are very nice and very hungry. Having a job is a big ticket for independence.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to disabilitieswork.employflorida.com.
Now your ABC7 First Alert Weather Forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
Drive time forecast this morning includes fog as one of the weather hazards checked this morning because it is certainly thick in some locations, spotty in nature, worst east of the interstate, but still limiting visibilities in many locations to below a quarter of a mile. So it will add time on your morning commute, so allow for that. Upper 60s for the temperatures as you leave the door this morning. When you come home this evening, they'll be in the low 70s. I think we'll have a rain-free day tomorrow, though the chance of an isolated shower this late afternoon or evening is not out of the question, but it's probably less than 10%. Current conditions, 67-degree temperature, 67-degree dew point. Dew point and temperature the same. Consequently, 100% relative humidity, and that has led to the fog issue that we have out there in some locations. So allow yourself that extra time. Low beam headlights, ease up off the gas pedal, allow more time and distance between cars, and you'll be just fine. East-southeast wind coming in at about 6 by 9 a.m. Fog begins to lift, but we still have some of that low cloudiness around. That'll give way to partly sunny skies and a 68-degree air temperature. By noontime, a mix of sun and clouds with thickening clouds, I think, 74 degrees of temperature. Then 78 by 3 p.m. and then mostly cloudy overnight by 7 p.m., 66 degrees. Temperatures kind of kept up by the cloud cover and by the amount of moisture that's in the air. So we have a couple of things going on our weather highlights across the nation today. A couple of double barrel low pressure areas with a frontal boundary back to the west approaching the state of Florida. Well, that low pressure area producing showers and thunderstorms just to our north. And in fact, there have already this morning around the Tallahassee area been reports of some strong gusty winds as well as some tornado warnings, some severe thunderstorm warnings, and that is now kind of closing in on the Gainesville area. If you have relatives in Gainesville, give them a text, give them a shout out, and let them know that there could be some weather problems for them this morning. A text should do it. Frontal boundary approaches the region. That frontal boundary promises some stronger storms to build during tomorrow. And then eventually, as we head into the afternoon, those storms to creep their way down the coastline and bring us a chance of severe weather tomorrow. Now, the biggest threat of severe weather is in north central Florida, from about Pinellas County northward up through the Big Bend. There, a 30% chance of showers, thunderstorms, tornadoes, probably some severe thunderstorms with gusty winds in excess of 60 miles an hour, large hail. That's just to our north. When things like that are just to our north, it makes us keep an eye to the sky during the afternoon tomorrow. Our risk is less at about 5% currently, but that could change with time. And the fact is that even if it is only 5%, we still have to watch for the potential of those stronger storms tomorrow afternoon. It will be a first alert weather day tomorrow. Increasing cloud cover today, storms tomorrow. The storm's part of a frontal boundary that'll swing through here and bring colder weather late tomorrow into Wednesday, and that will certainly change things up for a couple of days with some gusty, breezy winds. The forecast calls for those showers to move in. The showers develop into a line that sinks south of us tomorrow and then clears out for the remainder of the week. So the forecast looks like this for boating today. Not so bad. South wind coming in at about 5 to 10. Morning fog lingering across the coastline. Boaters, pay attention to that. Otherwise, we look for 2-foot seas and a light chop. Tomorrow, those seas will be higher. We'll look for 78 today. Tomorrow, a first alert weather day with excellent chances of at least showers, 70%, possibly a thunderstorm, and that 5% risk currently for severe weather, including isolated tornadoes, though that risk is very small, and the potential for some strong gusty winds. Front moves through, gets breezy for a couple of days, the sun returns, and temperatures drop. By the weekend, we start to warm up again. Back to you.
All right, thanks, John. Let's take a look outside. Your first alert traffic this morning. As John mentioned, there are some big spots of very patchy fog out there, so make sure you give yourself a little bit of extra time if you're leaving around this morning. Now, we do have some congestion to show you about in Manatee County if you're coming over the bridges into Bradenton or leaving the downtown Bradenton area. Those roads are pretty clogged out there this morning. There's definitely some congestion on 301 as well. And then, of course, in North Sarasota County, we do have some congestion out there, particularly around the 75 area. And then if you head farther south in the area, not too bad. The roads are still running pretty smooth in terms of congestion, but there is some patchy fog that is still out there. That is your first alert traffic at 6:49.
The environmental group Greenpeace is concerned about the consumer use of palm oil causing the destruction of tropical forests. So they asked 16 major companies like Johnson & Johnson to disclose where they get their palm oil, which is used in many consumer products. Well, the oil generally comes from Indonesia and Malaysia, so 8 companies disclosed where they got it from, and 8 companies refused to tell.
Well, Vladimir Putin is set to extend his power in Russia for at least another 6 years after winning yesterday's presidential election with a projected 73.9% of the vote. A state-run exit poll is now showing his election win will take his rule all the way through 2024. Well, he'll be 71 years old, and he is obliged by Russian law to actually step down. But the president hasn't groomed a successor just yet, prompting speculation that he might try to extend his power beyond this term. Of course, Putin was widely expected to win his 4th term as president with no real opposition in the running and his fiercest opponent barred from the race itself. Now, Putin, a former KGB spy, has dominated Russian politics for 18 years. The 65-year-old was already the country's longest-serving leader since Soviet dictator Joseph Stalin.
Good trivia there.
Right? Little Russian history for you this morning.
Thanks for that. Still had your top headlines in the top 7 before 7.
And one final look outside to your first alert weather and foggy morning commute with that traffic as you get ready for your day.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
Soldiers in the Army National Guard live up to a set of time-honored principles.
I will always place the mission first.
They stand ready to respond to any crisis.
I will never accept defeat.
They serve in their communities as citizens and as soldiers.
I will never quit.
They train part-time to be ready to serve at all times.
I will never leave a fallen comrade.
Learn more at nationalguard.com.
There's a lot of fear in coming back to school. I'm a 40-year-old man that walked in there to get his high school diploma. It was very hard for me, but one of the teachers was Miss Araceli. She gave me direction. Every single time I had a question, she'll put down whatever she's doing and she'll sit there with you until you get it. 50% of getting your high school diploma is walking through those doors. The other 50% is doing the work.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
WWSB ABC 7 is an equal opportunity employer, and we're looking for qualified people to join our dynamic team. For a list of current openings and to apply online, visit www.mysuncoast.com/contact/employment. If you're a motivated team player and you want a rewarding career in a fun, fast-paced working environment, WWSB ABC 7 could be the perfect fit for you. Check out our list of openings now.
So I kind of grew up all across the country. I come from 5 generations of military men. My dad is still active duty. My grandpa is retired Marines. I like going for runs with my dog. I love, taking her out to the dog beach over in Venice. There are so many things here to do on the Suncoast. My goal every day when I come into work at ABC 7 is to tell your stories, give you that major local news and those details that you really care about. I'm Jacqueline Matter, and I'm here for you.
Imagine a world filled with pillow fights, playgrounds, and the search for the perfect climbing tree. Every kid deserves that world, but 1 in 5 kids in America struggle with hunger. At No Kid Hungry, we're committed to creating a world where every kid eats healthy food every day. We raise funds, we help families, and we lift up communities.
Enjoy some of the best Suncoast restaurants on me. Just go to mysuncoast.com/dining, sign up for the newsletter if you haven't already, and you can win a $50 gift card to a restaurant in our area. We'll pick a winner each week, so go on our website and sign up now.
Download the all-new ABC7 First Alert Weather app now.
Welcome back. We want to make sure that you are ready for the day.
Here are the top 7 things you need to know. First, the forecast from John Scalzi.
Well, taking a look at the Lakewood Ranch webcam, putting it into motion over the last few hours, you can see the fog kind of thick, and you certainly can see the distant lights still. We don't have zero visibility, but it is definitely reduced. Your take home for today looks like this. For today, morning fog, dense in places, mostly east of the interstate, then increasing clouds tonight, storms tomorrow, possibly severe, a first alert weather day tomorrow, and then a midweek cool down. Those are your takeaways.
Thank you, John. Number 2, checking first alert traffic. Here's a broad brush look at the region. No real problems with traffic. Just be aware of the fog when you go out the door this morning. On number 3 now in Manatee County. Marla?
In a little under 2 hours, Governor Rick Scott will be here at the Manatee County Sheriff's Office signing a bill and highlighting funding to help combat the opioid crisis in the state of Florida, as well as right here on the Suncoast.
Number 4, following some breaking news out of Tampa, where police say an officer was shot several times and another officer injured while serving a warrant this morning. We'll have details throughout the day right here on ABC7.
Number 5, happening overnight. Over 1,000 people from more than 20 local organizations are expected to voice their concerns about Sarasota's affordable housing crisis and out-of-school suspensions in Sarasota.
Number 6, starting today, you can sign up for a program that lets you move through airport security faster. The Identigo mobile RV will be parked at the Sarasota Bradenton International Airport so that passengers can enroll in a TSA pre-check. It'll be there until March the 30th.
And number 7, what's trending? A new modern James Bond. That's right. Oscar-winning director Danny Boyle is writing the screenplay to the new James Bond flick, and he says the spy movie's women will now be written with more of a modern world in mind, and that this James Bond is going to be written to be, this is my favorite part, less sexist. My, how James Bond needs to have changed over the years. James Bond is moving along with the times.
You look at the first one, and there's no way that could be made today.
Never in a million years,
No
never.
way.
But I still love you, Sean Connery.
Here's one last peek outside our window. Plenty of fog as traffic picks up on the Suncoast. Be careful out there. 6:56 on your Monday morning.
That's right. Stick around. Good Morning America is up next.